90-day streets, as you know, never ever sleeps. Now we're here to talk about Marissa. Now, when it comes to Marissa and Edward, there's a very interesting conversation that is happening right now based on an article that was revealed when it came to an interview that Marissa had regarding never wanting to get married again. Let's dive into what's being said here. Marissa reveals past vow to never marry again. How interesting. Turns out the K1 visa was originally off the table for 90-day fiancé Marissa and Edward. During an interview exclusive with Swarm, Marissa revealed that she and Edward had originally filed for a tourist visa to further explore their relationship in the States without tying the knot. Why? Marissa revealed that after her first marriage, which is explained, was like walking on eggshells all the time. She vowed to never get married again. So to be fair with you folks, I believe that this is something that definitely allows us to identify more than ever when it comes to Marissa's attitude towards Edward. Because we've seen how controlling that she has been. We have noticed that she's been trying to dictate every single thing that happens in that relationship because she needs it to be the way she needs it to be. So therefore, she's not making another mistake. Which is such a terrible way to conduct a relationship. And anyone who behaves like that, anybody that puts themselves in that position, clearly shows that they are not ready to be in a relationship. But here's the thing though, folks. Why? Why go from the idea of a tourist visa to get to know each other more in America? And instead of doing that, you go to the K1. Because to be fair, the tourist visa idea, that sounds like a brilliant idea. An idea that would have done these two absolutely wonders. But why change your mind? Well, let's see if we can find out. Because, goddamn. Diving deeper into the timeline of their life story, Marissa told Swan that she and Edward had been dating long distance for about a year before they got engaged. However, that wasn't originally their intention, she explained. We originally applied for the tourist visa because I had vowed that I was never going to marry again, because it was something that was never going to be on my radar. You know, the interesting part about it is that marriage would have had to have happened at some point anyway, because how else would you have been able to stay in America? Unless you can get him a work visa or another visa, the spouse visa was always going to be the direction regardless. So really and truly, the marriage is always going to happen. But either way though, the tourist idea should have definitely been an idea they should have followed through with. And also, it should be an idea that I guess probably everyone on 90 Day Fiancé should always do first. Apart from the couples that come on the show and that are already married. Yeah. Prior to actually even being prior to even applying for the show. But we continue as it says, according to Marissa, she didn't want to get married for a second time because she didn't want to go through another divorce. Looking back at her first marriage, she noted, my marriage was hard. It took a lot out of me. The divorce was difficult, and being a single mom and dealing with all the hardships. There's still emotional flares between my ex and I. It's just not something that I wanted to go through again. Applying for the tourist visa, Marissa told, the intention was for him to come to the country, just like get a feel for my life. Does he even like it here? Is he comfortable here? When Edward's tourist visa got denied, the duo was faced with a choice. Do we break up or do we apply for the K1 visa process and really make this a serious commitment? Deciding that they didn't want to be without each other, Marissa and Edward made things official. Which I fully understand, fully respect. And I like the fact that the tourist idea didn't die because of them. It died because it was rejected. But then again though, could you not apply it more than once? I don't know, because obviously I wasn't in their position. But the grand scheme of it is this. When it comes to these two, they decided to say, you know what, let's make the commitment. But you know the problem is though, when they decided to make the commitment, Marissa then didn't decide to also commit, but by also relaxing and allowing things to flow. Because so far, she has not allowed anything to flow in their relationship. She has tried to conduct every single thing, which has caused tension between the two. Tension that doesn't need to be there. But we continue. If a relationship doesn't work out, I never wanted to get divorced again, Marissa revealed. So that was a very hard decision to say. Okay, I'm ready. I'm already said I'm not going to get married again, but now I have to make this decision. If I want to be with the love of my life, I mean, she doesn't treat him as if he's the love of her life, but anyway, I have to make the decision to marry him. So you can imagine how much weight that is on my shoulders to go against what I said and I would never do again. I mean, listen, yes, the weight is on your shoulders, but it doesn't mean you got to project it onto Edward. You've still got to allow him to come to America. You still got to allow him to come to America and get used to the environment. The plan that you had of him coming to America on a tourist visa should still stand. because you don't have to get married just because you're now on a K1 visa. You've got 90 days to see if you can figure it out. In that 90 days, if there's a single doubt, then that tells you what you need to know. But if that 90 days goes smooth sailing, you haven't got a single doubt, but then that also tells you what you need to know. And that decision is entirely up to the two people. But that can only happen healthily if Marissa is in a position where she's going to allow things to flow rather than trying to be the person trying to control things in a very unhealthy way. Give me your thoughts though. Give me your thoughts on the idea. But I will say this, that there's definitely other people that can definitely get a tourist visa. If you are an American dating someone from the UK, you can definitely get a tourist visa for that person. Hell, I've already got a tourist visa to come to the USA and I ain't got no one. You know what I'm saying? I just haven't come because I just haven't come right now. Yeah. But the moral of the story is, this is something that definitely can be a great idea for so many people. Okay? At least should be their first attempt anyway, before going for the straight K1 visa. But now we're going to move on to the next piece of tea. This one is all about Brandan and Mary. Apparently, these two are teasing the idea of returning to where? Returning to 90 Day Fiance, returning to TLC. As reported here by Sarcasm, as you can see, Mary and Brandan's account, 2 comments came out. Filming some show, can't say what show. Filming something exciting, can't say what yet, but we're on it. So what show could that be? Now the caption is also revealed by saying that, are Brandan and Mary returning to TLC? They recently posted about filming for a show, but couldn't share any additional information. Plus, the couple got a new computer system less than a month after asking their followers to donate money to help pay medical bills for their newborn daughter, Summer. So, this is where it's at. What do we think? To be fair, this is not a bad shout. Is it happily ever after? Because they do seem happy. Sarcasm. The question is though, if they are returning for a show on TLC? And if it is a show on TLC, is it 90 Day Fiance? And if it is 90 Day Fiance, do you think it's going to be for 90 Day Fiance the other way? Because they are literally the other way. They're in another country, right? Or would it be for happily ever after? 10 times out of 10, when it comes to it being happily ever after, the couple is usually generally, or 9 times out of 10, is generally stateside. Or one of them is at least stateside, and the other one is XYZ. But based on the new premise of how happily ever after works with this tell-all of no limits, we know that they require all cast members to then go to a house for the tell-all. So therefore, I don't think it's going to be happily ever after because of that. So therefore, it must be for the other way if they are returning for another season of 90 Day. Now, I would like to say I hope it's a different TV show, but it's very rare that you see somebody from the 90 Day world cross over to a different show. So therefore, if it's going to be a televised show, international televised show, it surely will be 90 Day Fiance. If it's not, maybe it's a show that they're currently filming that's only involved within the Philippines. That is the question that I have here. That is where I've got to. So give me your thoughts. But if they are returning, are you excited to see them back on your TV screens? On your devices? Are you happy? For me, I can't really say that I am, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, we're now going to move on to another one. Now, some of you may have already seen the shorts that I've made so far on YouTube where we are talking about Ximena. Unfortunately, she has currently been in an accident, and now that she has given us more information on what has happened. Now, as you can see here, she's put down, I explained what happened to me. I was going to my mother's house and an expensive snow was about to pass. Or maybe an expensive. Bear in mind, this is translated, so I don't know what. So if you're obviously somebody that speaks the native language, you can translate and let me know if this translation is accurate to what's being said, by the way. About to pass. And I'm pretty sure it's meant to say I meant to accelerate. I don't know. And came a truck. Yes. And hit me strongly that I lost my sense and woke up in hospital. My car was damaged and I hope to operate cheek something. So again, the translation is probably not pinpoint. But this is where we're at. She's given us more information. But that isn't the only information that she has given us. She has also given us other information. As per this, she's also provided footage. Okay, as we can see, this is the footage itself in particular. Okay. Showing the crash the damage that has been done, and it's not looking good. Those two cars look near enough totaled. A body is now being removed from the crime scene. I hope the body of the person is not somebody that has lost their life, and hopefully somebody that is currently in a position where their life is being rescued. Okay. But I would say I really do appreciate them taking the time with this, to be fair with you. Now, if you are someone who speaks the native language, please do let me know what this does translate to. That would be lovely. Absolutely lovely if you could do so. But it'd be even more lovely if we know that both people involved are both safe. Okay. Two cars, they're completely taken out. Potentially, I'd imagine, by a truck. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes in life, we can only do what we can to stay safe on these roads. But sometimes, even when we're safe on the roads, someone else can still be unsafe. And the person that's unsafe can then put other people in jeopardy, put their lives on the line. So make sure that you are always the person who is safe on the roads. More of the story is there should never be somebody on the road that is not safe. That is the grand scheme of that, because it is not nice to witness, to have to see that somebody had to go through such a horrific experience because other people on the road just couldn't help themselves. They just had to drive in ways that are just not healthy. But now we're going to move on to the next one. This one here is all about Mallorie. Mallory's come out with a series of posts where she says, I know I don't have to address this, but after seeing my GI doctor this morning, I feel like it is best if I do. I know some people have said that my car accident story is being strung out by TFC. However, it was my choice to share that story with them and you all. My accident changed not only my life, but everyone's life involved permanently. I hope that's in a good way. I hope so. Not only is having a seizure PTSD and trying to figure out medications that work right for me have been stressful. And honestly, the amount of times they get medication incorrect for people is disgusting. I think women actually get more misinformation and mismedicated more than ever, more than any other gender, to be fair. It's wrong. Absolutely wrong. We need to do better. Well, not us, but the scientists, the doctors, these pharmacists, they need to do better. Now we continue here. But also having to medication daily just to leave my house is a huge mental toll. If you never had a colectomy, hope I said that right, or know someone that has had one, then you won't understand. I'm constantly worried about being out in public and something happening that I physically cannot control. And sometimes my stomach medicine just simply doesn't work. I gotta say, for somebody in this position, she's done well to be able to get on a plane to Turkey and back, to be fair, given what she's saying here. Continues by saying, I want to share my story in hopes to have people think before they drive, distracted. Because, and ironically, drive distracted, and we just talked about Ximena. You know, so sad. Because it isn't it isn't only your life you could alter, but more importantly, you could alter someone else's life. If you lack basic empathy, then just don't watch or comment that scene, period. If this season's cast is just so boring, then stop watching it. Nobody's forcing you to do so. You know, I will say this though, sometimes though, there are people that purposely go out of their way to either get their cars hit by somebody else, so therefore they can claim. And then some people purposely walk out in front of other cars to purposely claim. So also please be aware, whilst also being a safe driver, also be aware that there are some people who are looking to set you up because they want to get a payout. So always drive carefully, folks, because you never know what fool is on the road doing some foolery. But we're going to continue what else she says here in the next one. It continues by saying, I don't really care what people say about me. However, when it comes to this situation, I will not be quiet. I hope and pray that nobody has to go through my family, friends, and myself had to go through. There was a brief moment in time that I thought this is it, while I was laying on the road bleeding out. So sad to hear. My best friend was stuck in the car and hearing strangers say, oh my God, we can't get her out. The vehicle is on fire and we can't get her out. While you just lay there helpless, begging them to save her. It's something that I don't want even my enemies to experience ever. Again, say whatever you want about me, fine, but there is a line that I won't be allowed to cross, and this is it. Question that I have for you folks is, what is your response? What is your response? How do you feel about what she's had to say? That is a question that I have for you there. Now, recently we made a video talking about the return of Larissa. This is information that was given to us by Shibuya. But of course, we're still waiting for that 100% confirmation from Larissa herself. Well, Larissa has not been on social media since October of last year. She has finally returned to social media, which I found very interesting, given the fact that only about a week ago we were speaking about her return to 90 Day Fiance The Single Life. That's the alleged show. She now comes out with a post. Life update. It's been a minute Instagram. So I find it interesting that she's back on Instagram around the same time it's rumored of her coming back. Usually some customers start to make a little bit of noise when they know they're coming back. She says, I've gained 33 pounds again. I'm going to start paying more attention to my diet. But honestly, I've been so happy and at peace lately that I let myself enjoy life a little. It doesn't look like much, but because I'm told, but I do want to go back to the gym and start running again. Hell, lady, you was under the knife more than you was in the gym, but okay. Getting those huge implants removed was one of the best decisions I've made. Thank God. I feel so much more confident now. Not anytime soon, but sometime in the next few years, I'd like to do a full explant. I don't know if that's an explanation, but either way. Oh, no. No, I know his name. One day at a time. And oh, my team got knocked out of the World Cup. Yeah, we know. So this is the situation here with Larissa. She's obviously returned to social media for the first time. And she's obviously, letting us know that she's in a place where she feels better now. And she wants to get her life back together again. Sounds to me as if she's somebody that is preparing to have a makeover. Ready to return to the dating scene and ready to crush it. So maybe this is more evidence that she is coming back to 90 Day Fiance, even though no one really wanted to come back to 90 Day Fiance. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see if she does come back to 90 Day. But either way, though, congratulations to her, obviously, getting implants out and her changing her life around and doing better. And I hope that she sticks to this new way of life because she needs it. All right. Why? Because the woman has always struggled with so many things regarding confidence. You name it. It's always been so challenging for herself. Now, with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Definitely want to know what you're thinking. But no way, yeah, that's it. Yeah, but subscribe, like, and yeah, all that shabazz. I'm out. Peace.